It'll be interesting to see whether they switch Murphy and Gerrard and get Gerrard into the centre of the midfield and put Murphy right side with no Giggs there. That's something to look at and maybe see as the game develops. And then, while the front four we can deal with as a unit really, Heskey and Owen for Liverpool, a threat, talented. If they get the service, and Kenny Dalglish is right, Owen thrives on service. If you restrict that, you restrict Michael Owen. And if they get a chance, Heskey's due a goal, you said to me earlier, long time due a goal. Might it be today? There's a talent there.
Well, some loose ends for Manchester United to tie up before revealing this lineup. Barthez sufficiently recovered from an ear infection. Good news on the injury front for Gary Neville and Wes Brown, but not for Keane, Giggs, Cole, and three centre-backs, David May joining the longer-term absentee Ronnie Johnson, and Laurent Blanc, who's still bedridden with flu. In midfield, Nicky Butt preferred to Paul Scholes with Quinton Fortune on the left instead of Giggs, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's latest hot streak earns him an Anfield start alongside Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Such is the depth of talent they have at Old Trafford, Mark, that no matter who he plays, it's still a fairly formidable side. What they have got in that back four today is a bit of pace centrally in Brown and Sylvestre. I wondered about Laurent Blanc against Owen and Heskey's pace and power, but with Brown and Sylvestre they do have two players who will keep up with them. Whether they will beat them, I don't know, and it'll be interesting to see how high up the pitch they take their starting positions. The midfield area, no Scholes, I'm a little surprised at that, but Sir Alex knows his team better than anyone and feels that Paul just needs to drop out of the firing line. But it's talented, it's international, and it's got great ability to create. Nicky Butt will be the one you would guess who would be given the responsibility to hold, but with Beckham, Varane and Fortune, there's plenty of talent there to create. And well, it's usually one up front and one coming from the back, but he's given Ruud van Nistelrooy a striking partner today. It's not York, it's not Cole, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, regarded as somewhat as a super sub, but he gets the shout from the beginning. And again, these two need service. If they get it, anything can happen today.
Concentration, and maybe getting a bit of sleep out of the system. It's an early start. Well, a pendulum has swung back Liverpool's way. 3 straight wins over Manchester United at Old Trafford, here at Anfield in the Premiership, plus the neutral soil of the Millennium Stadium, at Cardiff in August Charity Shield. But only once ever have they won a 4th in a row, and that was 91 years ago. It is amazing that 5 different clubs have topped the Premiership this season, and Liverpool and Manchester United not amongst them. But that will change at least for half an hour or so if there is a winner here today. And how well these players have responded to the drama at half-time in the last Premiership game here 3 weeks ago, which saw Gerard Houllier rush to hospital, and how delighted we all are that he's back home, and I'm sure glued to his television screen for the next couple of hours. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, amazingly, hasn't played at Anfield before. He's been a substitute here and not got on, and he was a boyhood Liverpool fan. Well, the sign is there, the Anfield sign, the Anfield song being bellowed from the Kop end. England's 2 most decorated clubs, the 2 clubs that provide half the current England squad, the 2 most followed English football institutions worldwide. It's Liverpool, it's Manchester United, it's live right after the break.
To Channel 404, Sky Sports Extra. Amongst the features, Fan Zone, David Hall representing Liverpool today, Stuart Aspinall, Manchester United. Nice touch for the gaffer, who's gone home, and we wish him well. And he was touched by that. Phil Thompson, Liverpool through and through. He'll be a very proud man today as Liverpool go in against Manchester United. Match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Graham Poll's appointment for this plum fixture suggests that he is regarded as the referee in form. Michael Owen, the first subject for the player cam. He'll also be under the gaze of Sven-Göran Eriksson. No surprise that he's here for this eagerly awaited occasion. It's been a little wetter up in the northwest of England than in other parts of the country. Header by Gary Neville. Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, Solskjaer right alongside him. And Danny Murphy, very much a man in form for Liverpool, brings it away for the home side. Schmeitzer. First confrontation for Gary Neville, who only passed the fitness test yesterday. He and Wes Brown were both quite serious doubts. All sorts of possible permutations at the back were being considered by Sir Alex Ferguson.
It's worth watching that, Martin. Two players who have come in late, doubts about them.
And Barthez coming a long way to fumble and drop, and eventually reclaim.
Well, I think it was a free kick, but I tell you what, it's good goalkeeping that. If you come all that way, take the pressure off your defenders, juggles it a bit, but gets away with it.
Risa, very nicely taken by Schmeitzer. Got the better of Beckham in doing so. Oh, Heskey's turned his back. And he eventually did get a foot to it as he was bowled over by Silvestre. Osho, I'm sure, will be very pleased to have his central defensive ally restored today, Sami Hyypiä. The versatile Carragher's been filling in there, and of course actually captained the side for the first time on Tuesday. He must have been thrilled about as a local lad. Gerrard, now Brown, one of Manchester United's local products. Beckham,
Just flies wide.
It's a good idea from the long throw. Heskey couldn't be offside, of course. He just couldn't drop it, Risa, over Neville. He settled in quickly. The Norwegian, who was playing in the French league. Close shave for David Beckham. Murphy. Gerrard. After Fortune had slid in and not really made contact with the ball, but he did enough to put Gerrard off. Heskey. Well, the flag was up.
Very early as well, Martin. That flag might have gone up original for the original pass. This one here, the flag's up already before Michael Owen's gone in behind.
Veron, of course, has special permission to be involved today before flying off to represent Argentina. Brown. Our man very much the holding player in front of Liverpool's back four. Hyypiä trying to skim it forward for Owen to chase, but getting his direction a little awry.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you've got Heskey and Owen up front for you, Martin, and Manchester United hold a fairly high line and putting the ball over the top and getting them turned and getting your front two chasing it and running after it. Certainly not early in the game anyway.
Quite a day today, 4 of the top 6 in action, and any one of 5 clubs could finish the day top of the table. Solskjaer. And Norwegian on the other, and it's led to a Manchester United free kick. Come Brown and Silvestre. Van Nistelrooy. Marked by Carragher. Retrieved by Veron. Osho only puts it back where it came from. Veron again. Hyypiä following away, and Liverpool trying to push out here. And they've done so to sufficient effect that they've caught Van Nistelrooy offside. Murphy. Love to do well today. There must be a real chance that he would get his England debut against Sweden next Saturday if Sven-Göran Eriksson does decide to make one or two experimentations.
Well, it's an opportunity to do such. I think that Danny Murphy would be one. I think that's a possibility.
What has helped Murphy is he's lost a few pounds in weight and really got his fitness absolutely maximised. Here's Owen! Lovely combination between Heskey and Owen, who decided to take his shot first time.
Well, the centre-backs go for the same ball here again. A few things have happened like that. They get caught down the same channel. I think he had to take it. Dennis Irwin's coming round on the cover. Michael Owen takes a touch on that. Dennis Irwin probably gets a tackle in. So he's right to take it early.
Of course, he scored against Manchester United before, most recently in the Charity Shield, past Barthez, but Michael Owen hasn't scored against United here at Liverpool. Owen. An interesting change for Sir Alex Ferguson-Andy to play with the two up front. Solskjaer did start in midweek, but he played on the right-hand side of midfield. Didn't stop him scoring a stupendous goal. He's up top at the moment. Some sorting out to be done for Gary Neville. Fortune. Also played in that midweek game in France, and the manager was very pleased with him. South African international, of course. Verot. Forced forward by Buck, preferred to Paul Scholes today. Verot. Now Solskjaer. Carragher there for company. And then Carragher telling Harman that the safest way out was to involve Jerzy Dudek. Beckham. Carragher there again. Manchester United trying to assert themselves in midfield here with Beckham on the roam. Owen going ahead of Fortune, who finds him very cleverly.
Oh, what a chance. What an opportunity for Dennis Irwin to pick someone out.
Beckham again, closed down by Heskey. Now great counter-attackers Liverpool, remember. They won't be too disappointed to draw Manchester United on, but they won't want to get opened up as they could easily have been by Owen well forward. Owen. In fact, Owen's not back in position yet. Been covered by Fortune. Schmitzer. Harman. They're on in the way. And it bounced forward at such speed that Herpia really had to accelerate himself to stop Solskjaer finding a most unlikely through pass. Murphy. Schmitzer. Very neat footwork, buying him a bit of time in a match that's begun as you'd expect. That's one heck of a lick. Neville thinking about the goalkeeper with the ball in flight. Barthez due to go to Australia with France. That ear infection might yet intervene. Oh, Van Nistelrooy. It's all his own work. Out comes a Dudek. Buys Liverpool a few extra seconds. Carragher there covering. Then Gerrard. Remarkable play by Ruud Van Nistelrooy. But here's Murphy.
Yeah, well played, Gary Neville, good positioning.
Risa. Now Beckham. Perron.
The ball's out, it needs a rest, man. It's been a zip to this game. He's unlucky around this way, he does brilliantly twice. There to lift it over and then again, and it just wouldn't come down for him. Dudek does his bit, he comes out and he forces him wide, and there are plenty of red shirts in front of the goal to protect the goalkeeper.
He was looking for, remember the way Kanu completed that hat-trick at Stamford Bridge? Just a calming gesture from Graham Cole, nice handshake between Owen and Gary Neville, the culprit. That's good from the players, it takes the heat out of it for the aggrieved supporters as well. I'm sure the referee appreciated the gesture. Headed back by Honcho makes his task that much easier. Graham Cole refereeing a match between these two giants of the game for the 5th time. And I'm sure past experience will be a great asset. Owen, Fortune.
I just wonder if Nicky Butt's been preferred to Paul Scholes, man, because of the nature of the way he plays. You know, Veron always wants to go forward, he always wants to be ahead of play at times. We do need someone to sit like Butt is doing there,
Do that
sort of area. If it breaks down, Paul Scholes wouldn't really do that.
Carragher first across. And a swing at it and a miss by Murphy. And a foul by Harman. Often wanting to be involved in the taking of the free kick. Perron recognised his right, of course, as a specialist and as the captain today. And he doesn't lift it over the head of Gerrard. Steven Gerrard there again, looking long, looking Owen.
Yeah, there's been more control about Manchester United's play, whereas Liverpool have looked to get it down and get it forward very quickly.
Got raised by Owen, but not high enough for the referee to blow. Risa. Won the last 2 away games, Manchester United in the Premiership. At Tottenham, of course, spectacularly. After a very poor first half, and at Sunderland. They, like Liverpool, have really been occupied by European targets as well. Fortune, Solskjaer and Nistelrooy, Risa there for Liverpool. He needs to be there again. He was sold a bit short by Harman. And how good it is for the English game that the top clubs have advanced to the second stage of the Champions League. And Arsenal, of course, for these two. Arsenal in action later today in the Premiership against Charlton at Highbury. Of course, one of the teams that could end the very top of the table. Gerrard. Murphy. Lisa trying to offer an outlet on the left-hand side. Schmitzer. Owen. And he did very well to take Barthez, the ball behind him.
Good take. And Michael Owen, that is.
Murphy gets it back from Perron. No time to dwell on that, because here come Liverpool again. Schmitzer. Well, twice Schmitzer has troubled Manchester United on this part of the pitch.
It's not the best cross, and then he skips in. Lovely little ball round the corner from Risa and pulls it rather behind the front two. He does really well to find the target, Michael Owen. Not an easy volley, but he controls it really well.
He'd love to get a full 90 minutes under his belt again, Michael Owen, and especially today. Murphy. Now Schmitzer. Risa. Schmitzer, but Owen his target. Brown, in the end, made a straightforward interception. Schmitzer. Trounder in for Heskey.
And talked about Murphy and Gerrard, Martin. I'm just wondering if Phil Thompson has switched them. You see Murphy playing right side now, Gerrard's come back into the middle. That makes absolute sense to me, I have to say. They play Gerrard wide normally against Manchester United and Giggs plays. And I just wondered if they change it. They have done at the moment.
Maybe just a little bit concerned about the amount of possession Manchester United are getting in midfield and the potential to surge forward centrally through Veron. Mickey Butt's gone ahead of him at the moment. Veron on the ball. Fortune. Van Nistelrooy. Hippier went with him, made sure he couldn't turn. The layoff was on the heavy side, needed a bit of catching by Neville. Hippier there again. It's gone straight up in the air from Risa. Schmitzer comes back to try and restore a bit of calm and does so. Gerrard again releasing it quickly. This time it's Owen trying to head on for Heskey. Schmitzer finding strength in the challenge, couldn't get away, having won the ball well from Neville. Scored a very important goal, Vladimir Schmitzer, here on Tuesday. And Jamie Carragher was captaining Liverpool. And of course another Liverpudlian like Carragher, Stephen Wright, scored his first goal. Hasn't kept him in the team, unfortunately, from his point of view. I'm sure other chances will come his way. Risa. And Bart in danger of confusing each other then. And a bit about Manchester United in that respect this season. Individual errors defensively. And they've kept on scoring pretty much the required amount. Even though at times that's needed more than the average to win matches. Gerrard, Murphy, Carragher waiting. And good positional work from Neville to make sure there was nothing there for Heskey to fasten onto. Veron. Settled into something of a pattern. Manchester United neat passing through midfield, prepared to be patient. Liverpool numbers behind the ball, well aware of the pace for the quick counter-attack. And Owen and Heskey, and the need to supply them quickly. Onshow. Liverpool's turn to need some patience here. Onshow. Heskey up early and it's one in the ball.
Yeah, as Kerry Wrigley said, they're not the biggest side Manchester United today. Heskey would fancy his chances if anything's laid in aerially towards him.
And away by Beckham, who frowned, very annoyed with himself. Fortune's got it back for Manchester United. Not for long. Schmeitzer. On a 4-4 for Liverpool here. Just joining the scene and the set was Gerrard.
I was asking Schmeitzer, where did he go? Obviously felt he was making a run down that channel.
Perot. Solskjaer. Worked it where Beckham can collect. Looks right at him and left his Fortune, but not too far forward. Owen starting to come forward. He was not quite sure whether to go full tilt for it, but good judgment in the end, as you'd expect from a guy who's been around as long as Dennis Irwin. Schmeitzer. Risa, who's a very powerful presence coming down the left-hand side for Liverpool. He's got a cross in. Rather a speculative one. Solskjaer coming deep to collect. Oh, Graham Poll actually helped the wrong then by getting between Manchester United player and Danny Murphy, who was trying to get a challenge in. Van Nistelrooy making space for himself. And he might get back in. Ruud Van Nistelrooy, he does. He's still going.
I just wonder, was there a chance to pull the trigger? He obviously felt not.
Well, Herpier would be relieved about that. He was looking a bit coltish and stumbling. Allowing Van Nistelrooy another sniff of it.
Yeah, he just lost his balance a little bit. And I just wondered if he could hit it. I mean, he gets through here, well, more by good fortune than anything else. Stumbles through a couple of tackles. I just wondered if it was there to hit just about the end, but he decided to take the other touch on it.
Herpier, assertive there against Van Nistelrooy. Heskey. Here's Schmeitzer. Can now switch to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. Sky Digital viewers, channel 404. He's going to get a good purchase for a throw that seemed to slip a little from his grasp. This time from Risa, Solskjaer. Gerrard. Heskey. Could get it down for himself. Owen. Harman can go to the right where Carragher's waiting. And Barthez with his own players causing problems. Murphy, of course, got the winner at Old Trafford for Liverpool last season, with the sight of an opening goal here at Anfield.
Well, that's just total lack of communication, you have to say.
Murphy again.
Right idea. He's there to be hit wide a goal and bent back in. Just didn't quite get it right. But what on earth Fabian Barthez was doing momentarily, man, I'm not sure. No red shirt anywhere near him. A couple of his own players, and it wasn't the most convincing defending I've seen.
Well, it is yet another pairing in the centre of defence, isn't it, for Manchester United today? Brown and Sylvester. I think it's a 7th different in the Premiership. They've got their 11th game in the league this season. Gerrard. Could have dropped a blanket over the 4 midfield players centrally for Liverpool then. Mixture has broken up to the right-hand side now. Good movement by Steven Gerrard. Owen. Then came behind him, as the supply seems to be at the moment.
That's the other way. Yeah, David Beckham made a little error there. Put his foot on it, controlled it inside the line, and then just let it drift out.
He hasn't quite started at his best, has he? There have been a couple of uncharacteristic slips. Plenty of time for him to put that right, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely determined to do so. Risa. Opia. Cry from Schmitzer up here, even above the crowd noise, so Graham Poll must have heard it, and maybe that part in his decision making. It was a real wail.
An awful lot in that from the Iron Martin. There was contact, but certainly Schmitzer's cry was more severe than the tackle.
Just a free kick, no sign of a card. Risa to take it. Palmer. Oh, he's played that. But Gerrard is in a great position now to pick out a teammate in the centre, but hasn't been able to do that.
Maybe just a touch early first touch. Allowed to get over and make the block.
Everyone but Solskjaer coming back for the Liverpool corner. Here right in by the goalkeeper. Barthez, full extent of his reach. Very clean catch. Gerrard. And ball by Butt. They preferred to Paul Scholes today. Nicky Butt's actually starting in the Premiership for the sixth match in a row. So it's not exactly an untried reserve who's come in for one of England's top talents. I'm sure Paul Scholes will be the first to admit he hasn't been truly at his best regularly enough this season. Solskjaer is certainly in the top form at the moment. I'd say the same about Veron. Fortune. To Irwin via Veron. Liverpool holding their line just outside the penalty area.
Pity that, there's good momentum in that attack from Martin when it spread the ball to Fortune. Just lost it.
Not reclaiming it well for Manchester United. Heskey. He's going to hold right on himself, he's quite capable of that. Settles for a little ball off for Schmitzer, who's looking to get it over Silvestre for Owen. Didn't come off for Liverpool. And remember what Heskey did to Bayern Munich in the Super Cup. You sometimes think, well, he's got all the raw material really to take on even a team like Manchester United, and he kept possession for his side and others lost it. He's not just a target man, Heskey, he's got the ability to power in behind just as Owen has. He's, as we said at the start, due a goal, maybe following Adi Akinbaye at his old club Leicester yesterday. See Similar sort of statistics. 14 appearances for Liverpool for Heskey since he last scored. Perpia, easily read by Neville. Have a game between Beckham and Baron. Owen.
I think there's been lots of possession on both sides, but a lot of it where it doesn't matter.
Murphy back in the centre again. Schmeitzer. Well, you know, with the ball at his feet, he will not panic. Fabian Barthez. That's not to say he might not be caught in possession. He's got a 100% record for Manchester United against Liverpool. Played 3, lost 3. Now Risa. Perpia. Palmer. Schmeitzer. And it's got through for Michael Owen. 1-0 to Liverpool.
Oh, what a finish. Finish of a craftsman. Absolutely no doubt about that. You just felt that the outcome was inevitable when it dropped at this young man's feet. You just wondered if Heskey gets a touch, was he offside? But he's not. But once he opened his body out, Martin, and his shape to put it in that far corner, you just didn't doubt where it was going to end up. Absolute exquisite, wonderful finish.
Another little landmark in this already wonderful career. A goal for Liverpool against Manchester United at Anfield for Michael Owen. And after the recent bout of hamstring trouble, he is back in front of the England head coach, but in front of Phil Thompson and in front of his own television screen. Gerard Houllier will be absolutely delighted, I'm sure, as Heskey causes more trouble to Manchester United.
I think they'll look at that United and think that Wes Brown maybe should have dealt with the ball, Mark, that dropped down quite softly and under pressure from Heskey. He didn't really deal with it, Wes Brown. He allowed it to drift through without making any contact on it. And then you just don't catch a young lad when Owen's away and in behind you. You don't care how quick you are, you ain't going to get back at him.
But here's a chance for United to hit back. Gerrard been able to defend the ball from that side of the pitch, as he did from a Beckham free kick. Owen.
Well, I think the one thing that's fascinating for me now is that over the last 18 months or so, we've watched this Liverpool side, and the one thing they've become pretty good at is defending a one-goal lead, whether it be here or whether it be away in a tough tie in Europe or in the Premiership. They're very, very good at protecting what they have, and that's going to make the job for Manchester United even more difficult.
Risa. Schmeitzer. United's throw. The player cam for Sky Digital viewers, channel 404, now on Schmeitzer, who certainly had plenty of the ball over the last 15 minutes. And it's been a better spell for Liverpool after Manchester United maybe bossed the early possession. And it's been a spell that's been crowned with a Michael Owen goal.
Yeah, I think Manchester United had decent possession, Martin, but apart from a couple of little flurries from Ruud van Nistelrooy, I can't remember Dudek having a save. I don't think Alex Ferguson said I've had a shot at goal or on target yet in 35 minutes of the match. So although they had decent possession, no real threat in that possession. Whereas you have just felt, haven't you, that if Liverpool got in behind, there's definitely a genuine threat in there.
Pesky.
That's too easy as well. That's happened too often for me. Ball played up, edge of the box from distance, and Heskey's been able to either head it or bring it down on his chest without a challenge.
Oh, and Schmeitzer missed out on the chance to involve Heskey again. Beckham. What Manchester United have done when the defending has been lumps this season, they have come up with at times absolutely compelling responses, and they've got so many ways of winning football matches, even though they are, well, a little bit more depleted than usual today. Keane not far away from being fit. Of course, Ryan Giggs, another big mess. We have an international cast of stand-ins as well, so
just about. Well, not averaging just under 3 goals in every Premiership match for nothing, Martin.
Van Nistelrooy. There is their top scorer. Changing views with Steven Gerrard as the play went on for Manchester United. They're on, but Fortune. Now Irwin. Beckham. All but Heskey back for Liverpool. Break us down is the message, if you can. But they might be able to, with Irwin making a good angle for a cross and still getting that cross in under some pressure. Gary Neville. Flag up for offside as Gary Neville tried to swing it wide to the left-hand side.
You thought that was a shot, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I think 100% of our viewers thought the same. Well, England against Sweden, the only place you can see it live, apart from going to Old Trafford, of course, is on Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra. England against Sven-Göran Eriksson's home nation, Saturday at 2. Heskey.
That was foul there, I thought. Just leaning on. Yeah. Hands in the back of Michael Owen. Straightforward decision for Graham Paul. Certainly in Jean-Arnaud Risa's territory. That side, left foot.
As soon as the whistle blew, he was on his way. 3 goals already in his short time as a Liverpool player. And he can batter the ball, there's no question about that.
Well, it looks like they're going to shift it. The angle he's approaching the ball at doesn't suggest that he's hitting this direct, Martin. It's going to be shifted.
Solskjaer helping the alignment of the wall from behind Risa. Schmeitzer trying to block off the charger, who is Fortune. Risa!
Oh my goodness!
Goodness gracious me! Well, it's amazing the goal is still standing. The ball rocketed into it from the left boot of Jan-Arne Risa.
In a weekend of stunning strikes, Martin, this has got to be up there with the best of them. I mean, that's a blur. An absolute blur. It's a free kick of just stunning quality. You just don't see that. Just turn round, pick out the back of the net and get on with it. You just no waste of time diving for that. Goodness me.
Anfield is rocking to Risa's goal. Murphy. Manchester United are 2-0 down. just as they were in this fixture in March, when Liverpool scored twice at the same end of the stadium. It will be Sir Alex Ferguson's last league visit here as manager of Manchester United. Of course, there's still a possibility of an FA Cup pairing, of course the Champions League as well. But so far, it's a rather harrowing experience for him. But not for him.
What a price he paid Wes Brown, Martin, for that little laying of hands on Michael Owen. Wasn't a lot, no need for it, unnecessary there. But goodness me, did Liverpool make them pay?
Heskey. Beckham trying to get back and help sort things out here. And goodness me, they need that Manchester United. This is Gerrard. Overconfidence can be a dangerous thing. It's come off for Liverpool.
Whoa, now. Brilliant to him, isn't he? When you talk about overconfidence, he just get a little bit carried away, Steven Gerrard. This is a reckless challenge, absolutely reckless. Totally unnecessary. Jumping in like that. Phil Marston are on, he just skipped out the way.
And Graham Poll has done nothing more than lay down the law. Steven Gerrard got sent off here against Villa for jumping in. He has had 3 red cards in his Liverpool career, all of them strangely in home games, and much being made a moment of consistency of decision making. It's always difficult. I have to say, I think Graham Poll's got the mood of this match absolutely right, but there will be those who will say, well, hang on, we've seen similar escapades and the response from the referee has been far more serious. But surely no 2 games of football are ever the same. And the referees have the right, or should be given the right, to react to how they feel the mood is out on the pitch. There was no great response from Manchester United in terms of clamour for Gerrard to have a heavier punishment. Certainly words were said, but I suppose maybe the Englishness of this game might have worked in Steven Gerrard's favour. There's some good friends in the opposing ranks. He needed a few friends a moment or two ago. Anyway, back to the match.
Manchester United just a bit ragged at the moment, Martin.
And Murphy just giving Gerrard a little pat there as if to say, come on. We're 2-0 up.
Well, half-time's on the horizon as well. I think they get there 2-0. Chance to settle it in the dressing room. Well, Thompson to have a few words just to settle everything down. Alex Ferguson to work his oracle again. This is not insurmountable for Manchester United. We know that already this season. You only have to think back to White Hart Lane.
And I think it's a year ago this weekend, Liverpool roared into a 2-0 lead at Elland Road and lost to Mark Viduka.
Well, funny enough, Manchester United need a little bit more from an area where they've had an abundance of good play, and that's up front. They really haven't threatened at all in this first half. A couple of half chances for Van Nistelrooy, but no real problem for the back 4 or Jerzy Dudek in goal.
Heskey trying to make it his against Silvestre. He was a bit slow to pick himself up, in fact not even starting to pick himself up. Another centre-back in the wars for Manchester United in a season of so much change in that position for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah, it just gets physical here. Just bundles him over. I think he just lands on his boot. His actual thigh, I think, just landed on Emil Heskey's boot. It's probably just what you call a dead leg. But we've seen today, Martin, 2 quite stunning goals. That's just a finish from a craftsman. And this, well, you pull the trigger and my goodness, that was a bullet out of gun.
A rocket day before firework night.
Now 1 minute of stoppage time left.
Gerrard. Oh, and Owen started, stopped, possibly worried about offside. He wouldn't have been, actually, but he wasn't to know it. Fortune. Veron. And the ball actually struck the run, but I think Graham Pollard pains to point out here it wasn't a cynical act.
No, he didn't think so, Graham Paul, did he? Danny Murphy just smashed it back. Hit Veron in the chest as he was sitting there. It's all about concentration for Liverpool at the moment, Marcus. Must be the last free kick of the first half. They'll be wanting to defend this. The roof will just about come off if they do so.
Not close by Beckham standards. Half time. They're looking for 4 in a row, remember, against the rivals from down the M62. Michael Owen has made it likely, and Reece has added to that. Liverpool 2, Manchester United 0 at half-time.
That's better. Now we have a game, and Anfield is alight. How far and how fast? We'll tell you when we come back. Half-time here. It's Liverpool 2, Manchester United 0.
Yeah, I think the ball's there to be won. I think the ball, Heskey's not going to get under control. He's a centre half. You see the ball there. It's there for West to go and win, and it's unfortunate that Heskey, always good play by Heskey.
Let me just tell you, you will not beat him in an argument. Forget it. If he says that's the case, that's the case. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Player Cam will concentrate on Ruud van Nistelrooy at the start of the second half, as Manchester United need goals, not just from their strikers, but from anywhere. They're 2 down. And since they last lined up here in March, their record no more than average. 11 wins, 11 defeats, 5 draws. It cost them in last season's Champions League, those quarter-final defeats by Bayern, but not domestically, apart from the Charity Shield against Liverpool. And it would be folly to undervalue what Sir Alex Ferguson has at his disposal in terms of players, in terms of managerial know-how, of course, in terms of desire. But he will want more in the next 45 minutes. White York did do some warming up out on the pitch at half-time, but not yet brought into the game. So it's still Solskjaer and Van Nistelrooy as they're combining here.
Against it, really. Look to take the shot on, and that's the one thing Phil Thompson doesn't want to see, giving possession away as cheaply as that.
And how well these Liverpool players have made light of the potential difficulties of Gerard Houlier's absence. 4 wins and a draw, not to mention that second half revival against Leeds when their manager was on his way to major heart surgery. And here they are with 2 first half goals against Manchester United under their belts, and this fella scoring one that he'll remember for the rest of his life. Irwin. Silvestre. Irwin has dropped it over Ancho, collected by Van Nistelrooy. Beckham, Veron. Well, it was an attempted shot. It nearly got through as a pass for Ruud van Nistelrooy.
So that would have got through as a pass if Carragher hadn't intercepted it.
Brown. Solskjaer. Fortune. Remember, the first half started with plenty of Manchester United possession and Liverpool almost trading territory, getting in behind the ball. Owen's cross. But he had a quiet first half generally, Jerzy Dudek.
I think we'd expect to be a little busier second half. There seems to be a little bit more purpose about Manchester United at the beginning of this half. The one thing they cannot, I don't think, afford to do though, Mark, although they've got to press and look for a goal, is just allow themselves to be caught at the other end. I think if Liverpool pinch a third, I really do think that's a bridge too far for Manchester United to overcome.
Brown stood strong against Heskey there. As judged by Hurpia. And Mr. Roy jumping into him. Both strikers actually penalised in the last minute or so for, I think we can just say, misplaced enthusiasm to try and get into the game and win the ball. Trigger off maybe a recovery. There's friends amidst the conflict.
You can imagine, why are you not playing? Oh, I don't know, I just can't understand the decisions they make these days.
Life on the bench. Right in the middle for Michael Owen. After some time on the treatment table again. Hurpia. Ferrol. Now Beckham for Butt. Owen's cross. Oh, it's dropped. And making the most of that, David Beckham. Well, that's just what Manchester United needed, and they've got it within 5 minutes of the restart.
Perfect medicine that for Manchester United. Again, a bit of good fortune. He certainly struck his free kick brilliantly, Risa, but he doesn't strike the clearance here half as well as he should. Only into David Beckham. It's just instinct for David. He just turns and swings the left foot at this. Goals ain't moving. He doesn't even look where the goalkeeper is. His concentration is hitting the target. He did that, got his reward.
And now it's Harman caught in possession. A change to the complexion here at Anfield. Fortune, Solskjaer. And it's come about through David Beckham's 50th goal in the Premiership. Schmeitzer. Owen letting it run, hoping that Heskey would be alert to the possibilities. He wasn't quite. Heskey trying to get there again. Once more seen off by Silvestre. But no coincidence about that really, because Beckham is the sort of player who will go and close you down all over the pitch, and he did that. It's not often seen in the penalty area, the opposing penalty area. He's done it there and got the big rewards. Oh, Heskey wins it. Owen! 2-goal cushion restored. That really is, in the context of this game, a catastrophe for Manchester United.
That's a poor decision from Fabien Barthez. Team are just back in it, and what does he do? The Frenchman gifts Liverpool a third. Heskey does his bit, but when you come that far, you have to clear the lot. If you're not getting the ball, you have to clean the whole place out. He does nothing. But look at Owen. Look how early he gets up. That's the secret of why he gets the header in. He goes up early, he knows it just needs a touch, and Michael provides that touch.
Substitution.
Some 90 seconds between Beckham's goal and Owen's second. Dwight York is on in place of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Veron.
I don't know if he sensed something special second half, mate.
Well, when Beckham scored, he started thinking about comebacks and what happened at Tottenham, of course, in particular. But Michael Owen has altered the dimensions of the game again. With some help, it must be said, from Fabien Barthez. Fortune. Veron. Now Butt. Michel sticking to York. Owen. Well, we've been talking about individual errors, Andy, all day, haven't we? On Manchester United, most unlike the application from the Old Trafford club. This latest one has come at a time that, well, is most untimely. Veron. Veron again. The long legs of Sami Hyypiä used to good effect. Heskey. Now Schmeitzer. Beckham back to try and help Neville out. Murphy helping Schmeitzer out. Owen. Neville would have hoped that might run for a goal kick, but he couldn't take the risk. Well, worth throwing it in again, I guess, from this sort of position. Phil Thompson trying to make the point.
Absolutely, Martin. If there's a doubt, there's an edge. I think Bartes outside there will come for it again. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit.
Here it comes, but it's further away from the goalkeeper. Even Bartes isn't tempted. It's headed on by Heskey, and Owen might reach it. Owen will reach it. Well, Dennis Irwin was yelling, I think, particularly at Gary Neville about not getting out.
They just haven't been able to cope with Heskey aerially, have they, Martin? That's the thing. His strength and his height have really caused Brown and Sylvester a huge problem.
He wins it again.
Yeah.
York. We will remember a game when he scored twice for Manchester United here, just over 2 years ago. They needed 2 goals from somewhere. But showed too much of it to Harman. Gerrard. Heskey will get to this one. Brown did reposition. Maybe Heskey should have got to it. Didn't realise that the odds were in his favour.
Well, it's taken a while to waken up the crowd. They certainly are wide awake now.
Risa. Remember, they started the day 5th and 6th in the table. 1 point in Liverpool's favour. Also with a game in hand over Manchester United. Plenty of others in the frame, of course, as well at the moment, but the feeling persists in the English game. If you finish above Manchester United, you will win the championship. It might not be true, of course, this season. York. You missed the earlier news. Andy Cole also on the injured list for Manchester United today. Murphy. Well, this is really, Andy, set up like Liverpool like it, really, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. Manchester United are going to throw men forward. They're going to have to risk man for man at the back, 2v2, whatever it might be, in the quest for a second goal.
York. And Nistelrooy. Beckham, who scored the first here for Manchester United. There's a deflection on the cross. It might suit Dwight York. Veron. Again, Jamie Carragher comes out to get in the line of the shot. Glanced on by Beckham, normally the corner taker. This time looking to be the corner converter.
Well, they're look a team in a hurry at the moment, Manchester United, Martin. I think in normal circumstances they'd still be patient, they'd still be probing, but they know, I think, the quality of the side they're playing against, certainly defensively, that Liverpool have. And I think that's why there's a little rush about their job at the moment. A quest to get back in it sooner rather than later.
Owen. Veron. Good width to Manchester United's build-up at the moment. It allows them maybe through distractions to other Liverpool players to have a path through the centre. Beckham was wide right, Fortune very wide left. Don't get so much natural width from Liverpool. Silvestre. And Harman, but only well with Murphy. Moved forward by Brown, back by Murphy. Carragher. Nothing really malevolent about that, but he was second to it, Quinton Fortune.
Message for Roy Edward Platt of Manchester to contact his nearest police officer, please. Roy Edward Platt.
Brown. Beckham staying wide again. It's an ambitious pass. Fortune.
Not easy to break down, Martin. They got that bank of four and they get good protection from the four midfield players, and not only that, more often than not you get Michael Owen or Emil Heskey dropping off the play to help them.
As Owen is at the moment. So, in midfield. Van Nistelrooy. But got it run and yelled at Beckham as he thought it was going for Beckham to be set up for a shot. Schmitzer.
Pass Brown. Oh,
Not past Barthez. Well,
what
not
a ball
in the right direction.
What a ball this is. Look at it. First time. Absolute arrow-like. And you think when he's through, he's going to test the goalkeeper and put the game beyond him.
Danny Murphy now the subject for the player cam on Sky Digital. It's channel 404. Mistake by Harman. Beckham trying to profit from it. And towards Van Nistelrooy. Kicked out by Herpier. Backed up by Veron from Manchester United. But just tucking it down for Irwin. Fortune. Harman being tugged a little bit by Dennis Irwin. Free kick goes against the veteran, but I must say Alex Ferguson was on his feet there, and I'm sure Harman in the initial development of that tussle fouled Dennis Irwin first.
I think there was a free kick edge of the box for me, Mark. Harman just jumped into Irwin. I think that's where it all stemmed from. Referee missed it. I noticed David Beckham having a quick word with Graham Paul as well about that decision.
Well, he hasn't missed much.
No, he hasn't.
Veron. Irwin.
Too heavy.
Finished his 36th last Wednesday. Says it will be his last season as a Manchester United player, and what a career he's had. He actually made his debut against Liverpool in a Charity Shield way back in 1990. Here he is. But Fortune, despite some Liverpool pressure. York lines it up and can't keep it down. Well, we switch to international action next weekend. England v Sweden, the only place you can see it on television live. Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra. We start at 2. And that will be followed by the first leg of the World Cup playoff between the Republic of Ireland and Iran. Vital fixture, that's Sky Sports 1, 5:30. Getting the free kick. 2-0 to Manchester United at half-time. To Liverpool at half-time. Hope for Manchester United early in the second half. And Beckham, but immediately Owen having another opportunity, which he took with alacrity. That's where you find us at the moment. Schmitzer. Schmitzer has stayed down. He's certainly improved his image, David Beckham, as far as the Liverpool fans are concerned.
He doesn't often get applauded here, does he?
Well, he did, of course, when he scored the winner for England against Finland.
This is Nicky Butt. He'd lost the ball and Schmitzer just delayed and he's got a little nick in the ankle.
A little nick from Nick Butt. Fortune. Zidane was actually looking to where he was going to throw the ball to before he claimed it. He got away with that. Silvestre. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Manchester United's away games, even more so this season, have been spectacular affairs in the Premiership, and plenty of room to put this into the same category of great comebacks, but they're up against a side that works so well as a unit defensively, starting with the front men. Neville. York. But looked at the vital moment. York's got it back. Veron. Van Nistelrooy. Beckham. Left foot again. Good effort this time. Dudek stops it.
Good effort, good save. That was lovely football, patient. Little short interplay. And once they feed Beckham through here, I thought he was going to hit that first time, but he decided to come back on his left. Good goalkeeping.
Heskey rather jumping into Brown. Free kick taken with the urgency that Manchester United badly need. York. It's a stretch by Harman that took the ball away from Tobagan. Heskey. Absolutely no support there at all. It hasn't often been the case.
No, it hasn't, but just the last 5-6 minutes of the match, Martin, the ball's been coming back too regularly for Liverpool. They haven't been able to keep it up top.
Can they keep it this time? Not for long. Fortune. A tangle of legs between Gerrard and Fortune. Gerrard coming from the angle with the lesser advantage, and free kick properly given by Graham Poll. Fortune. So a painful clearance by Herpio, caught some studs, I think, from Van Nistelrooy, but
well, that's where there's a little bit of it's a bit rash, isn't it? I mean, there's plenty of movement wide of him. He had Gary Neville, could just edged it onto. Rather hurried Nicky Butt.
a double change for Phil Thompson. Patrick Berger and Robbie Fowler.
Field number 7, Vladimir Schmeitzer.
Vladimir Schmeitzer comes off, and there'll be no hat-trick today for Michael Owen.
And number 9, Robbie.
But what a legacy he's left for this match. And a pretty popular replacement for today's two-goal hero. Heskey.
I don't think I'd be too happy getting taken off, Mark. I have to say, if you'd scored 2 against Manchester United at home, and there's half an hour or so left in the clock, a good 25
Well, this is
minutes.
his third game back from a hamstring injury, and it's about the time that he's been withdrawn. And I know what you're saying, but it was a different game in your day, lad. The word rotation hadn't been invented in a football context, that's for sure.
That was called dropped in those days.
Yes. They're on. One thing about Dennis Irwin, he's not someone who's courted the public eye. He is a man who's always desperate to win. He's been part of this great attitude in the Manchester United dressing room, and you can be sure he won't be giving it up. Brown. Fowler back to Murphy, not an easy one to take good control. Gerrard. Maybe a risky idea, at least the pass failed by getting too far forward and not being cut out by Manchester United in midfield. York with freedom to roam since he's come on. Fowler to Berger. 3 up for Liverpool. Murphy. Heskey beaten to it by Dwight York. They're on. Beckham. Cleared by Carragher. Looked for a bit of fortune by Fowler. Heskey. Squeezing it to Steven Gerrard. Thought about clipping it into Fowler in the air. He looked a bit isolated. Heskey closer at hand. Robbed powerfully by Fortune. Beckham. Murphy got a touch of the ball.
Offside. Gotta be, yeah.
Here's Veron. Neville. The tailor-made for Sami Hyypiä though. It really opened up Liverpool Manchester United for all their probing. Even the nature of the goal was somewhat unusual. Certainly, at the moment, the boss is in midfield. And that's partly, again, because Liverpool do play this way, trading space.
Well, I think they're happy to concede ground and possession at the moment. They're 3-1 up. They don't have to chase the game. The onus is on Manchester United.
Risa.
It's noticeable, isn't it? You've hardly seen Risa or Carragher in a forward position second half.
Fowler nicely fed by Ancho. Heskey. Berger. Back by Harman, away by Irwin. Went off Dwight York's arm, but not intentional handball. Let's get a lot of yellow cards. Didi Harman, 4 mistimed tackles. That was close to being mistimed, but he did get the ball. That's what he's in there to do. But the Graham Poll yellow card has been firmly kept in his pocket. Irwin. Now Murphy. The Fowler. Gone forward that time. Pre-checked. That's Murphy checked. Risa.
Just passing set now for Risa, isn't it? Look at that. First half he'd have been bombing on ahead.
Berger. It was a very perceptive ball from Danny Murphy. Well, they don't need to win it 4-1. Of course, there are plenty inside the stadium who would love to see that happen. But they will be the ones worried if it went to 3-2.
Well, they've got Berger, Fowler and Heskey, and they can just keep it tight at the back. Got Haman sitting in front of the back 4, protecting them. And they just say if they get the ball and they get it forward to those 3, if they could pinch a goal, fair enough. But if they occupy enough time on the ball, then just see the game out.
York. This is Juan Sebastian Verrot. Neville. Beckham. Murphy's head doing the trick defensively for Liverpool. Verrot. Good turn by Van Nistelrooy. And in the end he found Risa too powerful a presence. Well, so Alex Ferguson has waited a long time before summoning Paul Scholes from the list of substitutes. Inside the last 15 minutes.
And he's waited even longer for his first league goal this season, Mark. It'll be a perfect time for the young lad to open his account in the Premiership.
And he's never scored at Anfield. So maybe that's overdue as well. Matt Messias, the 4th official.
Oh well. Don't often see that, do you?
David Beckham is replaced. Certainly coming off at pace, no sign of an injury. On comes Scholes. Armband has gone to Gary Neville. So they've taken off the captain and their goal scorer today. Gerrard.
They haven't really looked like getting back into it, Mark, since 3-1. Manchester United for all of possession. I can't remember Dudek having a save, maybe the only one from Beckham when he turned back into his left foot. But apart from that, goalkeeper's been pretty quiet. They haven't been able to pin Liverpool back, put them under sustained pressure, create chances.
again displayed the attitude that Liverpool have had in abundance under Gerard Houllier, and it hasn't slackened since Phil Thompson, and plenty of help, of course, from Sammy Lee and Jacques Courvoisier, who's here on the coaching staff as well. Must be absolute delight on one bench, but not on the other.
You see that ice pack there on the left knee, just below it. He certainly sprinted off, looking untroubled.
He did, yeah. But that ice pack will be of some concern to Sven-Göran Eriksson. Whether he will have his captain available. Silvestre. They're on. Well, this turn of fortune for Liverpool started at Old Trafford. Danny Murphy's winner at the back end of last year. Then the 2-0 success here, that stunning shot from Steven Gerrard. Then the Charity Shield, and of course Manchester United conceded a penalty inside 2 minutes. From Nistelrooy. Neville. Too high for York. Gerrard trying to make sure he didn't concede a corner, and that's happened. Scholes. Heskey trying to make sure he didn't get within range. Oh, and Gerrard didn't expect that from Berger.
Phil Thompson's down there, he's trying to get his back four up, man, but I don't see any point really in trying to push up. They're defending really well as a unit. The more space you allow in behind you, the more chance you have of being done. So they're just getting a nice line, edge of their own box, 5-10 yards outside it. Let United pop it about. I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with that. So defenders aren't moving too far along the pitch or up and down the pitch. Be easier for them.
Well, he's been tussling with Manchester United ever since he made his league debut for Liverpool at Old Trafford back in 1972. He was a winner that day, 3-0 Liverpool victory. Fortune from the height of Hyypiä serving Liverpool well. Silvestre back in his speed, which is exceptional against Gerrard. Veron. Scholes. Heskey got a foot in. Fowler. Berger anxious to get forward, anxious to be back playing again. After knee trouble, that was offside.
Desperate to get in behind here. They just put the brakes on just in time. It's a close one, that. Very tight.
Well, we talked yesterday, Andy, didn't we, about the instruction to assistant referees about giving the benefit of the doubt to attackers. That was one of those cases, maybe. It didn't go Robbie Fowler's way.
It's been quiet today, Van Nistelrooy, isn't it? No real service. I guess he'd look at, but
time away from what will be seen as a significant success. It's got to be put into some context, of course. Some major absentees for Manchester United. The way they might have got back into the game, but for Bartez's error so soon after Beckham had scored at the start of the second half. It was a painful one for Heskey. Scholes. Risa. From Liverpool's point of view, so much to enjoy. Risa. Allowing himself the licence, and it hasn't happened very often in the second half. That's a bomb on. York. Scholes. Ferron. You're looking for the most attack-minded player in the Liverpool ranks at the moment. I'd pick Patrick Berger. He's trying to get forward at every opportunity. Foul.
Well, he's got that ability to run with the ball, Berger. You can give him at mark edge of your own box, middle of the park, and he'll run, take it, carry it 20, 30, 40 yards.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson taking on Dennis Irwin. He might well be saying his Anfield farewells. He's had some great moments here, of course. He scored in that wonderful 3-3 draw in the Premiership a few years back, and John O'Shea has already represented the Republic of Ireland. Comes on in the centre of the defence, allowing Silvestre to go to left back in place of Irwin. And Nistelrooy. Time for Manchester United to create some Liverpool nerves if they were to put it back to 3-2. Again, you could see how well they massed centrally, Liverpool, and how difficult it is for even players like Ferron to pass the ball through the team all in red today.
Very narrow Manchester United have become as the half's gone on, Mark. They've taken off Beckham. Fortune's not really giving them an awful lot of width left side at the moment. And that makes it easier for defending a league. You just bank lots of players middle of the pitch.
Scholes. Leading on attempts on goal, Manchester United. Behind on target and behind in the configuration in the top left corner of your screen. Led with an arm then. Hurpia saw it as more sinister than that.
Yeah, he jumps his arm up. You can see this quite clearly, and that's what the referee sees. Like you say, it wasn't an elbow, Sammy. It was leading with the arm, but it was no more than that.
Well, here's a question I can't answer. When was the last time no one was booked when Liverpool played Manchester United?
Well, if you can't answer it, it ain't worth knowing then.
Graham Poll has been a man in control. In one or two greyish areas when on another day he might have shown not just a yellow card but possibly a red.
Players have been pretty controlled though, haven't they? I think they haven't given them too many problems. I can only think of that one rash challenge from Steven Gerrard near the end of the first half. Apart from that, It's been probably one of Graham Paul's easier Liverpool-Manchester United games to referee.
Risa. Rich vein of humour, of course, on Merseyside. Are you City? Presumably Manchester City in disguise, as the shout from the top end at the moment. Very unfair on Kevin Keegan's current team, I would think. But we get the drift.
We're always supposed to enjoy your victories in football, and certainly Liverpool fans are going to make sure they do that.
And you give us a bit of perspective on this, because Manchester United, unless something miraculous happens, are going to lose this game.
I think that's the case, Mark. There hasn't been a good performance for them. The context of the Premiership, I think we'll wait and see on that. I certainly don't get the impression they're spent force Manchester United. It's not been a great day for them today. They haven't been at their best. But there are challengers this year. I think the United manager knows that more than probably any other year in the last 9 or so. Genuine challengers. There's work to be done, and they've had little mini slumps like this before and come through them. I can remember them losing heavily 2 weeks in a row. Was at Southampton, battered them at the Dell. Newcastle battered them.
Lost at home to Chelsea around that period as well.
You know, and they've come back from things like that. That's a measure of the strength of them. But it's been a pretty good day for Liverpool. It adds to their reputation as a force this year and as a major challenger.
Well, it used to come from here, the saying, you win nothing but the points for the win at this time of the year. But Liverpool, the club that have won the most English championships, will go to the top of the table, maybe for only half an hour or so, because Leeds, of course, kicked off at midday. Should they see it through here, and that will be the first time they've been top since September 1998. Scholes. Neville. Hopeful ball. Understandable in the circumstances. But Manchester United's best efforts haven't been good enough today. Liverpool with the massive boost of the early goal. The first goal from Michael Owen. And then one so quickly to back it up. The rocket from Risa. And then when looked as though the tide was possibly about to turn, and Beckham made it 2-1. Owen on hand again so soon, just over 90 seconds after that, to give that 2-goal cushion back to Liverpool Football Club.
That's would have been excellent from the front of the back four. The amount of times that Haman or Gerrard or Murphy has broken up possession that United have had before they've even reached the back four, Martin, has been absolutely top class.
Well, it's been the essence of the management of Gerard Houllier to get the team into a shape, to get the players into shape, to reach very high levels of fitness. Phil Thompson not wanting to have to take it on in such circumstances, but striking exactly the right note, really, being thrust into it. And this is very good for Liverpool. They've beaten Manchester United, remember, for a 4th time in a row, and that last happened in 1910. 2 goals from Michael Owen, a wonderful shot from a free kick by John Arne Riise, and at the moment they are top of the table. Manchester United off the pace in that table and in the game today, in truth. But a long, long way to go. But from Liverpool's perspective, brilliant for them, brilliant for Gerard Houllier as he continues his recovery. Big smile from Phil Thompson, thumbs up, 3-1.